Hello there. What is going on, everyone? We've got some more X-Wing standard loadouts to talk about today. Some more Rebel ships have been kind of shown to us in a recent article. So Atomic Mass Games is still doing the Atomic Mass transmissions, and they've been doing quite a few for X-Wings. So today we want to talk about the Millennium Falcon, some more of the X-Wings, and also some Y-Wings that have never before been seen in X-Wings. So it's a pretty cool, spoilery type of article that AMG posted. We're going to break it down for you, talk about some of this cool stuff. Real quick admin notes, if you are new here, there's still time left to enter to win that lightsaber. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. Also, big thanks to today's sponsor, Luxury Playstyle. Amazing full metal tokens for X-Wing. They are awesome. I know you've heard me talk about them. I use them. They're double-sided, they're heavy, they're gorgeous, and they're going to make you want to play X-Wing even more. Use code Crabbok VIP over at luxuryplaystyle.com, and that's going to save you 15%. Also, if you spend $35 or more, you're going to get a free lightsaber nunchuck token, the Crabbok symbol on there. It's good to mark critical hits. You can use it in other games like Legion to mark your commander, or flip it over for a 5 damage counter, or for light side versus dark side in a Star Wars RPG game. Pretty cool token that you get. So head over to luxuryplaystyle.com. All right, so we're going to talk about some of these ships today, starting off with the new Han Solo from the Battle of Yavin. Of course, these are all cards that are coming in the Battle of Yavin scenario pack. It is going to have standard loadout cards that are going to basically be like quick build plus pluses. We've got new abilities on here, new stuff that like L3's programming on Han Solo. So it's not L3 with the L3's programming on the other side. It's just the flipped side, which is very thematic, makes sense, very cool. And normally is not available to the Rebels because that's a Scum and Villainy card. So pretty cool stuff that is made possible through these standard loadouts. So obviously you can't change the upgrades that come on here. You can't add or take away. You can only play it as is. But the cool thing about these is while they work great in the scenario, which is the trench run scenario that's coming with the of course the Battle of Yavin pack, you can also mix these into your standard lists because they're all going to have a standardized point value. So you're going to be able to kind of mix and match these all with your existing lists, which is really, really cool. So Han Solo comes into this at Initiative 6, of course, as you would expect. He's still got his regular stats, but he does have 4 charge. And you're going to be able to do some free coordinates. So this is kind of like a selfless Han Solo who's kind of showing up at the Battle of Yavin. He's like, oh, fine, Chewie, I'll help him out. You know, he's maybe a little reluctant, but maybe his conscience has gotten to him a little bit. So he has the Solo ability, which is different than all the other Rebels in this pack who have Hope. Han Solo has Solo, and it says, while you defend or perform an attack, if there are no other friendly ships at range 0 to 1, you may spend a charge to re-roll one of your dice. So that's kind of nice, right? You don't have to re-roll all of your dice. You can just now re-roll one of your dice, which is a little different than we used to like to do with Han. Also, after performing an attack that hits, you may spend a charge to perform a coordinate action, which is also really cool. So you can do, you use those charge and use them up because people are probably going to want to kill Han, but Han might come in kind of late. Now, there is also another, like if you're playing the scenario specifically, there's another card that's going to let Han kind of just pull a Yahoo and kind of go straight into the middle of the battlefield. So that's kind of cool. He does have some special upgrades, some unique stuff over here, which is always a good thing. He's got Chewbacca here that says, after you perform an evade action, you may gain a focus token, which is going to be really cool when you combine that with the Millennium Falcon title that gives you evade, or you're going to have evade on the board already. Also, while you defend, if you're evading, you may re-roll a defense die. So all kinds of good stuff there. I always like that. You're going to have the rigged cargo chute on there. That's going to give you a charge on there that you can drop to drop the loose cargo. I always wonder if what's going to be on the backs of these cards, though. This is like my biggest thing because a lot of these, like a lot of cards, like especially with the torpedoes or like if you think a card like L3 is a great example, actually. Let's go with a card like L3. Now, the real L3 is a double-sided card. And so instead of doing double-sided cards, one of the things they had talked about is like, hey, we didn't want to do double-sided cards for these, so we just came up with ways to maybe they slightly changed the card to like give it a charge token or something to influence like if it's used or not. And that's cool, but I don't see any reason why they couldn't actually do double-sided cards because you could just flip the whole card over. So that leads me to kind of ask, what's on the back of these cards? Let me know down in the comments section what you guys think they're going to do with the backs of these cards, because I think there's two really cool options that they could do. One thing that I would suggest is leave a double-sided card, basically make it a double-sided card so you can have all of the reverse-sided stuff that you might want to put on these on the back. It's definitely an option. Don't always have to do that, though. Of course, you can use charge tokens for much of it, but not all of it. But the other option would be for things like the Rig's cargo chute or any ships that drop bombs. I think since we have so many different types of obstacles and bombs, put references to anything on the back side of the card, like as to, hey, reminder for what exactly the loose cargo does. Is it just a debris cloud like I think it is off the top of my head, or is there any other special rules to it since 2.5 or things like that I might be forgetting? I think it's just a great opportunity to go ahead and like print any of those things, because while the quick builds are great and these standardized loadouts are way better, I would love to see them kind of go that extra mile, because that's one of the reasons I never fly bombers, is because I always get confused as to what each bomb type does, because I still got all the 1.0 bomb rules stuck in my head. So seismic charge is normally just one damage, right? So it's like, but now seismic charges blow up obstacles, and so like a lot of stuff has changed, and I think it'd be pretty cool to have them on the back of the card that's actually using them. But let me know. Maybe I'm alone in that one. Maybe that wouldn't be a popular choice. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of different things they could do on the back. I hope it's not just artwork, right? I hope it's not just the rebel symbol. Right, although there could be some advantage to it being a rebel symbol, because maybe you could do like a randomized standard loadout, like, hey, you know what, we're going to deal out some cards and you fly whatever you get dealt. And I guess there could be a reason to do that too. But either way, I'd rather them have some helpful, some useful game-related text on the back. That's just me. Reminder text is always kind of cool. They do that with Legion, right? Let's talk about some of the other X-Wings. We've got some different X-Wings, right? So last time we looked at Luke, Biggs, and Wedge, who are like your kind of main three for the Death Star killing attack run. And one of the things that all three of those X-Wings had was the ability to go extra fast. At the top on their upgrade bar side, you noticed that they had that attack speed buff, or that ability to do an extra 1-speed move after you do it. It wasn't an action, so basically it could let you do a 6 straight. The other X-Wings we're going to look at today are a little bit different. They're a little bit slower. They're a little bit more like a standard X-Wing in that they can't do that super fast extra boost move after they roll. And I say boost move because it's not an action. So you can still do it like if you had done a boost action or something like that. So you can go really, really, really fast if with those if you need to. So these are a little bit more standardized X-Wings. We're going to look at Garvin Drace, who does, like all of the X-Wings and all of the Rebel ships that are not Han Solo in this pack, have hope. After another friendly ship at range 0 to 3 is destroyed, you may perform a focus or boost action. So you still get the ability to do a little bit of boosting here, for, in lieu of the S-foils being able to open and close, right? And that's kind of where we kind of noticed, I'd say mostly, the lack of a double-sided cards, because they have different abilities. So you couldn't just mark S-foils with a charge token, because there's different stuff, and you could maybe print that out, but it might take up an awful lot of real estate. And while Garvin only has 2 things on his card, a lot of the other X-Wings have more than 2 things in their upgrade bar, so you can't really just have this giant block of text that might be this big just to talk about S-foils, unless of course you use the rear of the card for that. So I don't know, maybe hey, this is probably not the last pack that they're making for standard loadouts, so they could always do more of them and make them double-sided. It'd be real easy, but I'm kind of voting for that one. All right, let's talk about Garvin. So Garvin's got kind of a classic ability. After you spend a focus token, you may choose a friendly ship at range 1 to 3. The ship gains a focus token, so that's obviously going to work well with people that are either the same initiative or lower initiative. Maybe you can attack with Garvin, and then, hey, you did a target lock this turn, you gain a focus token. That's kind of the way it's always worked. It's really good for those missile shots. When you want to be able to have a target lock and a focus, you want to get that double modded shot. Always your biggest payload, usually, when you're able to do something like that. Especially with other ships that are using things like advanced proton torpedoes that are going to rolling 5. Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attack dice. I don't know why I'm doing the count right now, but that's what we're doing. Anyway, so if you're going to be firing advanced proton torpedoes, and especially with other ships, because we're going to see some other X-Wings that have advanced proton torpedoes as well, then that's pretty cool. Also, there's a lot of other cards out there that can use focus tokens that can also take advantage of Garvin Drace's ability, but at face value, you know, it works well if you got a bunch of initiative 4s also, or lower, that can take advantage of that. But you're counting on having that synergy, and if he ends up being by himself, then that pilot ability ends up getting wasted. He also has R5 K6 is going to allow him to repair a face down damage card or a face up ship damage card. So he's got 2 charges on that. So you get a little bit. They don't have the shield regen that the other 3 do as well. So you're noticing a little bit of difference between Garvin and then Luke's squad, right? You also have Jack Perkins. Oh my gosh, this is a really cool Jack Perkins. I like this. I love everything that's going on here. So Jack is a little bit similar to what we've seen before. At Initiative 4, also he's going to work. He's going to work fairly well with Garvin. You're going to have the option to let him take advantage of Garvin's free eyeball, right? His free focus token. He also has Hope. He also has advanced proton torpedoes, and he also has R5. So R5D8 in this case, but still the same thing. It's just going to be repairing damage. They've kind of done that. They've kind of said, like, you guys all have different unique astromechs, but they all do the same thing for these standardized loadouts. And, you know, and that's just something that you're going to get. You know, that's just like they're trying to make these lists a little more thematic. But Jack Perkins also has his ability. After you gain a stress token, you may roll an attack die to remove it, and on a hit on a hit, you suffer a damage. So if you roll a crit, a blank, or an eyeball, you don't take any damage. But he's trying to hold it, right? This is him saying, I can hold it, I can stress myself. Oh, I rolled a hit. I guess I can't hold it. Cool thing is, after he's destroyed, he gains this really, really cool ability here. He had a new ability called Unstable Sublight Engines. After you are destroyed, you must execute a 1-speed maneuver. Now, it's a maneuver, so it's not a boost, so you can go through a rock, right? Then each other ship at range 0 to 1 suffers 1 normal damage. This is so cool, right? Basically, he explodes. He goes down in a blaze of glory, a very, very big explosion. He probably had a couple extra cans of gas in the cockpit in case he ran out, or maybe coaxium fuel. So he was carrying some extra coaxium in case he needed to, run to, Dantooine before going back to Yavin for after the battle. He's like, look, I got a few things I got to do, you know what I mean? So he needed the extra fuel, so he gets blows up, he blows up pretty good. Now, you can really take advantage of that ability, too, if you position yourself where you know you're going to die, or you can even maybe try to manufacture it, where you, fly over a rock, go forward, boom, into into somebody's tie swarm or something like that. Just do a whole bunch of damage. It's gonna be cool, but it can also hurt your own ships, so you gotta be careful with that. Pretty cool. Oh, we got some Y-Wings and some all-new Y-Wing pilots, so really cool stuff. We're gonna take a look at these 3. We got Dexteri. I believe he was gold 2. I think he was gold 2. I'm doing this off the cuff, though. I should have looked him up. I should have looked him up ahead of time, but I'm just gonna go for it. We'll just do it. Dex is I think he's gold 2. Yeah, we'll see. All right. While you defend, if there's at least one other friendly ship at range 0 to 1, you may roll 1 additional defense die. Now, this is a great ability. Y-Wings only have 1 defense die, but if you're flying him in formation, people aren't going to go for Dex because they might, but they'll probably be slightly less likely to go for Dex because of the fact that he'll roll 2 dice. Now, of course, if you got an A-Wing to the right or left of you, I might go for Dex. But if you're flying with a couple of other Y-Wings, then I may very well just go for the other Y-Wings first, because they'll only roll 1 die. Unless, of course, it's one of those deals where, one's at range 3. So, ideally, now the coolest thing would be to have Dex, maybe at range 3, and then the other guy's out of range 3, but they're still close enough to Dex to give him the extra defense die, and then you end up getting an extra, through a rock, and at range 3, and then plus Dex's ability, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, did you roll 3 hits? Boom, no problem. I just blocked all of them. That'd be kind of cool, but... yeah, so Dex is got a little extra built-in survivability there, a little extra maneuverability when flying in kind of in formation. He also has Hope. He has a dorsal turret on him, so he's going to be able to have a little more attack arcs, although not the most firepower, but he makes up for that with the advanced proton torpedoes. If he can get you at range 1 and get that target lock on you, they're going to be able to do some damage with that advanced proton torpedo. And he also comes with the R4 astromech, decreasing the difficulty of your speed 1-2 basic maneuvers. At initiative 2, which is kind of cool. I like the low initiative pilots, Then we got Pops at the highly contested initiative 4 spot. Pops is, I believe, was gold leader, I think. I don't know. While you perform a turret attack, you may reroll up to 2 attack dice. Really nice, considering he comes with the ion cannon turret, which is going to roll 3 dice. I love the ion cannon turret. It can get that range bonus if you're at range 1, which is also like super cool. Always love that. And so if you can get really close, you get 2 free rerolls. So by all means, take that focus action if you can. But you're going to also want the target lock for the advanced proton torpedoes, right? So it's like, you know, like I think Pops is mostly there for ions, really wants to be ioning, but then if you get somebody ioned, then maybe you can kind of line up behind them and schedule that advanced proton torpedo shot. Maybe he'd even pair really well with Garvin, getting a free focus if he has to take the attack the target lock. We also have the R4 Astromech on Pops. So there's the reduced difficulty for the 1 to 2 maneuvers again. Always a cool thing. Then we've got Hall Oakland, our third and final Y-Wing for this group. Hall has the dorsal turret, also the advanced proton torpedoes, and the precise Astromech. After you perform an action, you may spend a charge to perform a red target lock action. So he's going to be very aggressive with trying to get those advanced proton torpedoes working. So he doesn't mind flying directly at you, taking the focus action, then spending a charge, getting a free target lock action, being like, boom, double modded advanced proton torpedoes to the face. And this is going to work multiple times potentially, because during the system phase, if there are no enemy ships at range 1 to 2, you may recover a charge on any upgrade. So he can potentially, do a reload without having to get the weapons disabled. Like, he can actually shoot if he's at range 3. Like, he can actually shoot at you and also get a charge back, which is really kind of cool. And it can be on any of your upgrades. And this is something I think is a pilot ability that probably wouldn't work if it wasn't on a standard loadout. Because if you could put any upgrade on him, all of a sudden that opens him up to like a lot of potentially, you know, game-breaking type of things. So the fact that, like, no, he's locked in with this pilot ability, with these specific upgrades, probably makes it a lot easier to balance, I would wager. I would wager that makes, you know, and that's like kind of a cool thing I like about this new format, is they can come up with crazy groovy new pilot abilities without having to worry about balancing them against every single upgrade and possibility and combination that exists within X-Wing. So I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm looking forward to testing all of these pilots out when they do come out, you know, maybe we'll get some more battle reports in there. There's already an X-Wing battle report live on Patreon right now, so if you guys are patrons at the A-Wing level or above, you'll have early access to that. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned. Next time, we'll be talking about some of the Imperial ships that are going to be coming in the Battle of Yavin pack, so that's always very cool. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this channel possible. Thank you for your continued support. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. So say we all. Always wash your socks. Goodbye there.